Hi, I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Missy, and this is You Should Meet My Friend.
Welcome, friends, to the You Should Meet My Friend podcast. Missy and I met recently to discuss our plans for season 3, guests, and a change in our schedule, and we thought we'd share a bit of our conversation. We, of course, talked about all sorts of things like Common Apps, podcast conferences, our love of surprise stories when we talk to our friends, the impending doom of the end of the summer holidays, and, of course, Olympics and rugby, naturally. We're looking forward to season 3, and we're looking forward to connecting with you over the next few months. Enjoy the last little bits of your summer.
My friend Helen Patton, she tried to call me one day. She always tries to call me on Facebook, and I was in the middle of talking to Trevette through one of his crises, and so I couldn't answer her call. So later I was like, "Did you try to call me?" She's like, "Yeah." And so then she was supposed to call me this weekend, and she must have got busy. So she was like, "I need to talk to you." And I was like, "Ooh, what about?" She always has projects going on, and she always wants my feedback. But she's one of the people that I have on my list to email
Excellent.
for a podcast. And my friend Melanie. Melody is who I have so far.
Yep, my friend Amy's on board for sure.
Okay.
But I haven't really talked to anybody else because we need to sort out like what our recording schedule is going to be, because I guess I'd like to invite people and say, and here's the dates that we're available.
I liked the calendar idea. I think that's really great.
Yeah.
Giving them, when do you want to start? Because October is just really crazy for me.
Yeah.
So in fact, it may be even better to do things during the week. Maybe. I don't know. I hate to say that.
One idea I had is, what if we did every other week? And then maybe I would stay on top of the editing.
Okay.
So if we record, and then hopefully before we do our next recording 2 weeks later, we can put it out.
Yeah. I think that would work better, especially with October being so busy, or the fall being so busy.
Yeah.
With band.
Yeah. Well, you have a senior in high school who's involved in marching band and will be applying to colleges. So your fall is bananas by definition.
Yeah. Well, he did finally get on Common App yesterday because, it opened on August 1st, and he had band camp last week. And so it was like from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. And so August 1st, obviously they were talking about it in band, because he comes home and it's like 10 o'clock and we're in bed, and he comes in and he's like, "Mom, Dad, I need to start applying for school," and I'm like, "What? What's going on?" And I was like, "Yeah, we know. It sounds good. You got time." I said, if you want to do, what is it, early acceptance or whatever, it's like October. And I said, but Utah, like the major schools, in fact, sometime this fall at school, they have a Utah college day where you can apply to schools. They make it really they want you to go to Utah schools. So they make this whole day for seniors all across the state where you can apply to schools, and they make it really easy. And Utah State, they're not even on Common App, because they're like, "Yeah, just tell us your name," But and then of course it's the realization. He was looking at his transcripts and he's like, "I thought I had a 3.8. And I was just like, "Oh, dude, I had like a 2.8, so you're good."
Yeah, exactly.
But I said, well, I said, "I've preached at you for 3 years. Everything you do leads to, if college is your thing." So it's in the realization.
Yeah. So, I do feel like, I'm curious what Chris feels like, but I felt like the Common App was made for someone who has spent time in the military, because we're really good at forms.
Yeah.
And we're very good at filling white space, because all performance reports and awards and decorations, you want to use all the space possible to say how awesome this person is.
Right.
Which is, I found it really enjoyable because I love my kid, so I'm happy to help him do that.
Yeah. No, I made Chris sit down with him because I'm just not a cerebral person and my attention span. And I said to Chris, I said, if you do that, I will fold socks and underwear because he hates doing that part of laundry. He's like, I'll do the towels. Yeah, or he'll say, I did the laundry, and I'll be like, well, what's this basket? It has socks and underwear. Yeah, I didn't want to do that. Okay. But Chris was like, well, you got to put down Boy Scouts. And he's like, well, I didn't do much. I didn't have leadership roles. And Chris was like, you're an
Eagle
Scout.
Scout.
Very first line, made it to the rank of Eagle.
Right.
And then Cohen, and so like you said, Chris is like, embellish. It's not lying, it's embellishment.
Yeah.
Using these words, and you're supposed to be bragging about yourself. Cohen just is like, oh, I don't want to lie. I don't want to lie. And I was like, what do you think your friends are doing? They're all embellishing.
It's so funny.
Check.
Yeah. I had this exact conversation. So there's a gal in our neighborhood that I work out with, and her middle child is going into his senior year. So they're working. Yeah. She's trying to get a lot of Common App stuff done before the school year starts.
Yeah.
Like every other parent in the entire United States. And he was saying the same thing, like, oh, that's really braggy. And she's like, this is the time to be braggy.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like, this is what they want you to do. But anyways, okay, back to this, because I know you got ththings to do. I really like the calendar idea, and I can do every other week. That would take a lot of pressure. So
yeah, because it does. I mean, I love our conversations, but when we're on like week 6, I'm like, whoa, this is a lot of words.
Right, I know, right?
Yeah, because we're gonna go back and do our Grand Canyon hike. We're going to attempt to finish it without a helicopter rescue this time. So
that would be good.
So we're out for about a week and a half, for a couple weekends in September anyway.
Okay.
Because I know my friend Vero recommended Paige. I mean, she owns a travel business. She may be one of those people that it'll take some effort to find a good time to meet with her. So
how was the event that you went to?
The podcast event? That is actually in 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and it's here in town, which is convenient. I have a feeling it's going to be a whole conference of very extroverted people. So I may just dip in and out of the conference, but I've seen the agenda, and there's a lot of things about, super big production kind of podcasts. And I hope that there's going to be some interesting things on just nuts and bolts and how you and I can just make our lives easier.
Right.
Is what I'm hoping to get out of it. But I think they have tons of speakers from all the big podcast hosting, platforms, Spotify and iHeartRadio and stuff like that. So I'll be kind of curious what it's like. But, it's sort of like job interviews, right? Sometimes you go and you're like, this is awesome. And sometimes you go and you're like, these are not my people.
This is not gonna, I know.
But you never know. Sometimes you find some golden nuggets and make some connections. So we'll see. And it was FREE for me to register. So
there you go.
So it'll basically just cost me the very expensive National Harbor parking is all it's going to cost me to attend this conference. But I'm excited.
That's awesome. But are you happy with like our format and the way we've been doing things? And we did talk about we really need to try to keep our Zoom visits shorter.
Just a teeny bit shorter. And I think also this is what maybe I'm hoping I'll learn at this conference is what's the balance between editing out every and ah and also keeping the conversation concise?
And I think that's what we're going for. It's just genuine conversations. But it's
Yeah,
like, I mean,
absolutely.
and I think for the most part, I know the people that I recommend if they're going to be really chatty. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, she may go off script, or it may be really hard to keep her focused.
No. But
Um,
there's been some really great, fun things that we've learned when we weren't talking about what we thought we'd talk about. Like I
right?
always think back to
Yeah,
Sheila's moving
yeah.
truck fire.
I know, right?
Just
Yeah.
incredible.
Those are the stories that make people who they are, and without those stories,
Hmm.
like and those experiences. So
Life will be as
yeah,
chaotic as always, but we will attempt to find time to kick off
yes,
season 3.
yes. And you want to start when? September, August? I don't know if you're this way, but I am like, we've had all summer, right? All
Hmm.
summer. And the other day I was like, Cohen, we need to go get you glasses. And then I'm like, oh, we got to do that this week so they can get ordered and hopefully I'm just like, we've had all summer, man. Why didn't we do this?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
maybe we could target the right after Labor Day
Okay.
as maybe our first recording sesh.
Okay. I don't know. This year is kind of, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this last senior year and being empty
Yeah.
nesters. And Chris and I have done some work as far as just preparing ourselves.
Yeah.
Excuse me, preparing ourselves to be empty nesters and make sure we like each other. And we're actually looking forward to it. I mean, I would never say this to Cohen, but it's like I'm kind of ready to like do whatever
Yeah.
we want without
It is fun to
schedules.
unsubscribe from all the school emails.
Right?
That part's very fun.
Yes. And
But
all those
I don't
Facebook pages.
much like quitting my job, I don't seem to have copious amounts of free time. I don't know where it all goes,
Yeah.
but what's cool is sort of like when you move in the military. I mean, you miss the rhythm of the life that you had changes, but you get to keep
Right.
all your friends and buddies.
Yeah.
So you get to keep your kids, you just don't get to see them necessarily every day.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Mine seem to be coming back. And if they come back to Utah, that's fine. But
Yep.
in 10 years, you can come stay with me and go to the Olympics. So
I can't
me and my
wait.
sister, I know we've already decided we'll probably be retired by then or not, I can take off
Yeah,
work. We're going to go volunteer. She's
I
already told
know.
her husband, she's like, I'm retiring in 9 years and 3/4 so that I can be ready for the Olympics.
Exactly.
So,
I know Emma said she and Alexis want to go see the rugby in the LA games in 4
uh,
years. And I'm like, I can get behind that.
yeah, it was so fun to watch rugby.
Hmm.
We were like, now why are they like they're guarding her back end
Yeah.
and passing the ball through to the third person?
Yeah.
It's like this is
Yeah.
interesting.
The
Um,
gal that cuts my hair, she's cut my hair for like, I don't know, 10 years now. And she also cuts Emma and Michael's hair. And
ah,
so she's like, oh my gosh, this rugby. And she goes, you'll have to explain it. And so I had like 3 quick texts where I'm like, they do it this way because of this and this and this. And she's like,
yeah.
oh, I got it.
But my whole thing was, I was like, they're being tackled to the ground. They don't have pads. Those girls are badass because I'm like, why don't they have pads? They're getting, bumped and shoved and taken
Yeah.
down
Yep.
just
Because they're
like the guys.
strong. They're
They
strong.
are so strong.
Yeah, but Emma
It's
did in college once. She went to
been,
the student services for a cold or a sore throat or something like
yeah.
that, and she had some pretty wicked bruises on her legs. Not unusual for a rugby player. And the doctor's
Right.
like, "I just gotta ask, are things safe for you at home?" And she's like, "I'm a rugby player," and they're like, "Oh, gotcha."
Oh, we should put that on your file. Rugby player. Um, yeah, it's been so fun. I asked somebody the other day, I was like, oh, are you watching the Olympics? I don't
Oh
get
my
into that.
gosh, we've been
It's
watching it as much as possible.
oh, I know. And of course, I tell Guthrie, I'm like, don't tell me who won. I want to watch it, because they
Mm-hmm.
shorten it at night and you can watch a lot more. Mom, we gotta eat dinner and we gotta do our stuff outside because at 7 o'clock, we gotta watch it. And
Yep.
it's just fun to. Yesterday it was so hot and Chris has kind of been under the weather, and I said, let's just turn on the TV early and we'll have leftovers. And it was like handball and badminton and dressage, all
Oh
these things you
yeah.
normally wouldn't. And it's been very fun. I love Snoop Dogg. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
okay, Snoop Dogg talks at my level. He's like, explain it
Well,
to me.
he just has some
Oh,
genuine joy about it. It's not
right?
snarky at all. It's just really
No.
enjoying it, which I think is really cool. And
Oh yeah.
I mean, anytime somebody, an unknown, comes from behind and has their best day and
Oh, I
wins and
know.
then immediately hugs their mom and their dad, like, oh my
Oh,
gosh,
I
I cannot
know.
get enough of that.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, and I was for a little bit, I watched the end of that bicycle race where the
Yes.
American won, and she was like an alternate.
Yeah,
And she made
exactly.
that last move and she was 20 seconds ahead of everybody. And her parents just were like, oh my
Yep.
gosh. And
Yep.
we did talk about that a little bit. And the boys were like, I made that post because the boys were like, Mom, you didn't do a very good job. You didn't help us find a sport and then pay thousands of dollars so that we could. I said, I know. I should have put my house up for collateral so that you could be a professional badminton player or something. But, and the things some of these families do for these athletes is
Yeah.
amazing. And who doesn't love Simone Biles? I don't understand the hate, why people hate on her. I mean, she's just everything she touches turns to gold. Amazing to watch. But
Yeah.
okay,
All right.
well, we will start from there, and I'm excited to start on season 3. I'll try to think of some other people that maybe
Okay. Yeah.
keep my eye out.
Maybe if we do every other week, we can make our season 3 like several months instead of
That'd
a
be
month or
good.
two.
Yeah,
Yep.
and like I said, stretch it into the new year. Maybe that'll
Yeah.
help. You and I, we don't need to kill ourselves.
No, it shouldn't be a chore. That's for sure. All
No.
right.
So, okay, we'll get
Okay.
started.
All
Okay,
right.
have a good day.
Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Find us at facebook.com/YSMMF podcast and Instagram at YSMMF podcast for episode announcements. Thanks.
I told a friend of mine, I said, I always thought like potty training was like the worst part of Calgary, but nobody told me like being a coach for your adult kids is whole nother thing.